I said, you can have the TV, man. It's yours. Thanks a million. And as we were going out the last time, the fire department came and threw us out. They said, get out of here. And by that time, the whole place was sponged with water.
Oh my gosh.
But the interesting thing was when I ran out with that manuscript, and I didn't have a copy of it.
Yes.
About half of it was in the driveway. It slipped out of the folder.
Oh,
So
no.
this fireman came up to me and said, is this important? And only about 7 of the pages were wet. So I saved about 150 pages of my manuscript. And
Oh my gosh.
but anyway,
really?
but it was a while. But that's kind of an anecdote.
Oh gosh. What
And then
experience.
when I did the art show, but I had to wait 2 months later after I. But
Oh my
there are a lot of little
gosh.
stories.
Oh yeah. Well, I could never match that story. Gosh.
But that guy was so cool. The paint, I said, the TV, man. I said, no.
Gosh. And were those of this style of painting?
They were more. They were kind of like those dark. I had some. They were a lot. No, they weren't this style.
Oh no.
They were different.
Oh really?
I did a lot of paintings. But I started out with kind of black backgrounds and dark backgrounds. Kind of some. Yeah, they're all in those postcards I put in there for you guys.
Oh good.
But yeah, it was a whole different phase of paintings, and then everything sort of evolved into more light and more color and more. But it was fun. And then Jeb and I went. One time I came back from Belize after a trip. I wrote an article about Belize, and Tina and I were arguing again. And she says, "I'm leaving. I just got out of the airport. I've been down there 2 weeks riding around." She says, "I'm out. I've had enough of this." She says, "All I want to do is be with my piano." I said, "What? I just got off the fucking airplane, man. What?" She says, "I'm leaving." And so we go back. We were in that apartment, right? So we go back to the apartment, and I had Brown then. And so I said, and that just pissed me off so bad. I couldn't believe it. She laid that on me. So I just took Brown and left. I got into a motel, and then I went to my mom's place. And 2 weeks later, I had an art show set up in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Oh really?
And Jeb was going to spend the whole summer with me, and he was coming down. And I was like shell-shocked, because, I mean, we've been together a long time. She wanted to be with her piano. Okay, so Jeb comes down. I loaded 24 paintings into a Corvair, and Jeb and I drove to Santa Fe. We went to saw my brother in Phoenix. And I had an art show at a place called the Beva Cafe in Phoenix, in Santa Fe.
Oh really?
And it was great. I mean, but I was going through this whole sort of trauma of separation. And then we ended up getting back together and coming down here again. And all. It happened a lot of times. But that was a great trip.
Oh,
and
gosh.
Jeb started doing these Kachina doll paintings, which I have.
Oh really?
Yeah, he was only about 6 or 7 years old. Really talented. I mean,
Does he still paint himself?
he still,
or draw?
he can. He doesn't. No, he doesn't paint. He does musical, sets up musical things. He built in one event in Philly. He built some machine that they came in on the railroad. He wrote a story about the railroad track, the railroad history in Philly, and the tracks come into Philadelphia, and he built one of those things that you hand pump.
Oh did he?
But it was all made out of music. There were musical instruments. When you get there, you take the thing apart, and then they did a jazz session up in the place where they had this whole the whole history of the railroad in that
Is
area.
that right? Gosh.
But it was he put that thing together, and they dismantled it and then played music.
Gosh.
No, the guy's kind of a genius in a way, but eclectic. I mean, the guy can write and everything. But no, Jeb has always been.
That was such a touching New Year's
Oh yeah, that
letter.
Father's Day thing.
Father's Day. I
Yeah,
said Father's Day note from him.
No, Jeb had some.
I wish
I
he
remember
could
when
meet
Huh?
would like him to meet my son Dylan.
Yeah,
They would hit it.
that'd be cool if they could get together.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, because that's close.
Well,
Well,
it'd
in
be
New Orleans
and-
now. Now he's in New
Yeah,
Orleans.
in New
But
York City.
yeah, that'd be cool.
And meet my daughters also, Laura. and
Yeah, well,
Laura.
it'd be good to get that family thing
Yeah, yeah.
generated. Well,
Yes.
it's generated now.
Yes, that's right.
I tried to call my brother a couple of times since you've been here, but he didn't pick up the phone. So I called my cousin. And he hasn't talked to him, but
Oh, really? Oh.
Sterling has talked to him. Sterling was a good friend of his. This
Oh,
guy
really?
that has the painting. So,
Great.
but that's a long. I don't know. My brother's always has some sort of a built-in melancholy,
Oh, I'm sorry about
and
that.
but I still think, man, this is a process. If you can get on the sunny side of it,
Yeah, exactly.
you turn it into a gift, a gift. Because
That's right. It has
I've
to be
been
done
there,
a
man.
little by little, and just taking small steps,
Yeah,
and then seeing where they lead. But
because he's a good guy. I mean, one of the most compassionate, but he's very volatile, emotional, and I remember before my mom died, she told me several times, you can't save Chris, and I didn't know what else she was talking about.
oh, hmm
And I thought, I don't save Chris. I mean, I knew he's had some problems, but
hmm
so I don't know. I'm still optimistic.
well, let me know how I should intercede or participate,
Yeah,
if I can.
he said he knew. He said he could tell right away when he talked to him. It was like talking
Yeah,
to you
yeah,
as a kid,
I
and I know what he means.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's reciprocal.
Yeah,
And
that's.
your voice hasn't changed either.
I remember one story about Jeb that was really funny when Elvis Presley died. Because I used to do Elvis Presley imitations in junior high school.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I was a singer.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but when he died, we were driving around. It was August. I can't remember the year.
hmm
And the radio comes on, and Jeb was about three and a half,
hmm
already, like that. And they said, Elvis Presley died, and I pulled off the road. He said, "What's the matter, Pop?" I said, "Elvis Presley died." He said, "Who's Elvis Presley?" So I told him he was this famous singer and everything. And so next week or so, they were playing Elvis songs all the time
Oh,
on
sure.
the radio.
Yes.
So we were driving back from Isla Vista after a swap meet, and Elvis was singing "My Way."
hmm
And so the announcer says, "And that was the king, Elvis Presley, doing My Way." And Jim goes, "Papa?" I said, "What? Elvis is dead, right?" I says, "Yeah, he's dead." "Papa, I think he's getting better." He's thinking he's got to be
Oh,
alive.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, that's true.
It was so funny, though.
That's,
He was
that
just a
is
little
funny.
kid.
Gosh,
I think he's getting better.
gosh. So, well, it's so relaxing here. Gosh.
But is Dylan into sports, or is he?
Yeah, he likes sports.
Yeah.
He played tennis, and he was good at surfing and.
Oh, really?
But he's mainly, and he's certified for scuba diving,
Oh, cool.
and so are Laura and Martha. Actually, I got them all into it.
Oh, cool.
And
It's really ironic, though, that you married Martha.
yes.
I mean, the Martha thing's good. Wow, man.
Yeah, it's been great.
I'll tell you one thing. She's really ready for anything.
She is. She
That's-
really is. Yeah.
What a great connection you guys made.
I know. Yeah. It's very lucky. Yeah, she's very.
That's the thing about, like, at any moment, everything can change. I mean, we're a moment away from a lot of things,
Oh yeah.
for good or ill. But that keeps the game. I don't know, energized.
It does. It really does. You're right.
I mean, just a word or a gesture. I mean, I've noticed, like, even in movies, like I've seen bad movies where there'd be one good scene in it that made the movie incredible to me.
Yeah, that's.
I
pretty
mean, just
impressive.
or something. I remember the movie. I forget what it was called, Scarecrow. I think it was with Gene Hackman and Al Pacino. And they just get out of prison and they come down this hill and they start hitchhiking together, and they both have plans now that they're out of jail. Did you ever see that?
I did a long time. Yes.
But there's a conversation they have in a diner that I never forgot. It was, I think it's Gene Hackman wants to start a car wash. I mean, that's his dream. And Al Pacino wants to go back and resolve some kind of a marital thing before he went to prison. But that conversation with the interaction with the waitress in there is so
Oh really?
real.
Is that right?
I don't know,
I'm
and
gonna
it's
go
a
back and-
mundane subject.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was brilliant, man.
Yes.
But the
yeah.
rest of the movie was so.
Yeah.
Same thing with books. You know? That's why
Did
I
you,
was
did you
watching.
ever see
Same
the
thing with
movie
the tennis match.
Scarface? Did you?
Yeah,
see
that was good.
One of my dad's
bloody.
best friend was Al Pacino. Was it Al? Who was the Scarface? It was Pacino. It was
Yeah.
during the movie, there's one character who's a mafioso named, and he was portrayed by Bob Loggia. Bob Loggia. And he was a very good friend of my dad's. And,
Oh, really?
And we knew him, or I knew him, and he was a favorite tennis player, partner, former baseball player. But in the movie, he pleads for his life at one point for double crossing Pacino or Scarface, and gets him taken
dusted.
out. Yeah, gets dusted. But there was
That was a bloody movie.
Very bloody. Yeah.
Pacino's a great actor.
Yeah, he is.
But those guys, all those some of those Italian, I mean, De Niro and Pacino and some of those other guys that played those mafia
Yes.
roles. Joe Pesci.
Oh yeah.
Remember that Bad Boys or whatever? it was?
Goodfellas.
Huh?
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Oh yeah.
God.
So.
No, I mean, talk
Cool.
about violence.
I know. Gosh.
But they turn them into, they
Very
become
seriously.
sort of heroic in a way, in the public eye. But
That's
man, and all these benevolent, loving godfathers, and then they're out there just killing.
I know. Yeah.
And
It's,
they're going to the baptisms, and they're coming out of church, and and they're killers.
I know. It's pretty remarkable.
That was a good series, The Godfather.
Yeah, they were.
That was amazing.
That is true.
Well, when I went to New York, I stayed with Joe Sorrentino. Joe Sorrentino was my roommate when I went to college. He was 24 years old.
Oh, really?
I was 18. They put me together with this guy. It was my second year, actually. First year I lived in a basement out in Goleta. I couldn't get a room. But anyway, I go in. This guy's 24 years old. He's he just came from Brooklyn. Talks like, "Hey Billy, what's the matter? Open the fucking door." And so I hang out with him and I get to know him. And when I went to Spain after I left you guys, Joe had been accepted to Harvard Law School.
Oh gosh.
And so he was in Harvard Law School, and he was out on that summer. So he said, "You can stay with me for a couple of weeks before you go to Spain." So I left L.A. and Joe and his brother Tony picked me up at the airport, right? And they had about 13 kids in the family. They were from Brooklyn, and I get off.
So do you remember what year that was?
That was 65. 1965.
Yes, okay.
Because that was the year Malcolm X's autobiography.
Okay.
His biography. Autobiography. It was written by Alex Haley, but it was his life story. And I just read it, living near you guys, actually. And so I get off, and I was going to spend 2 weeks and get on the boat to go to Spain with all these Fulbright students. So I'm all tan, California. I get off to come out of the airplane, and I walk out with all these passengers, and I hear Joe, "Hey, Tony, look at him. He looks like a fucking movie star." So I hung out with him for 2 weeks, right? Joe put me up in his apartment.
Oh, really?
And it was after he'd done it for a year in Harvard, so he was going back in the fall. And he graduated valedictorian from Harvard Law School.
Did he really?
But anyway, so I stayed in the...
And he had a great career in the legal career?
Yeah, he became a juvenile judge.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, no, in L.A. I mean, the guy, he wrote a book called Up From Never, which is his autobiography.
Oh, really?
It's on the Johnny Carson show and all this stuff.
Oh, that's right.
But what was funny was that I stayed in this apartment with him, and he got it from his friend Tony, who was one of the big guys in the old days. And so a couple of times I went with them to help clear out this warehouse of all these boxes. And when Joe, by the time he graduated from UCSB and he was student body president at UCSB as well. And so, but he taught himself to speak like John F. Kennedy. I mean, he became eloquent.
Oh my gosh.
He'd go in his dorm room and he had all these synonyms on the wall of different words, and he'd talk he'd practice all this sort of effusive eloquence, and he was good. He brilliant guy. But anyway, as soon as he got with his pals, was right back. "Hey, come on, fuck, what's the matter?" Blah blah blah. So we do all these jobs together, and I helped for a morning to take stuff out of this warehouse. And Tony, who had been when they were kids, had been the great hero, gave me $300 I worked about an hour and a half. He said, no, hey,